What both of them mean to me, I mean, and they have the same thing in common. It's like this, in our society, we have this unspoken relationship with our sexuality, and they're like the darker sides of humanity, but it's not even the darker sides of humanity. It's showing like what's actually inside when we aren't hiding behind a Facebook profile or whatever else. I mean, these poems, the Brentano poems, they're beautiful, they're passionate, and very not Catholic. I was raised Catholic, you pretend sex doesn't even exist. But then you like see it framed like in this beautiful music and orchestrated, and you hear the sounds and you realize like it's not something to be ashamed of. So that's why I like the Strauss. The Craigslist Leader are just fun. I think they shine a light on like the dark corners of humanity, which I really love, actually. I think what's funny is the people you imagine writing an ad like that, they're probably like lawyers, actually. You might think of like that weird guy with like the flame shirt or a really long beard or something, but you don't know. It could be a lawyer, it could be a doctor, it could be anybody because the anonymity of the internet. So I don't know, those are just fun. It's fun to create the characters and like make your own meaning for their text too, because they may have had a completely different intention when they wrote those things, but just the way that I say them, or I mean sing them, I can give a completely different meaning to them, which is kind of fun. So I'm Elise Eden. I can't really see, I'm sure I know most of you, but hello. I went to high school here. I don't know if, how many of you read the paper in the past couple of days? Okay, so I don't need to rehash too much of my personal story then, which is good. I just am so grateful to be able to come back here and share some music with you all. I like prepared some stuff to talk about, but I don't really want it to be that formal. So maybe I'll tell you a little bit about the music. You might learn something you didn't know, maybe feel inspired. That's like my goal. So the first set that I'm performing, these are just selections from Strauss's Brentano Lieder. In all things considered, Strauss is a pretty modern composer. He died in 1950, so for him to, I mean, that's pretty, compared to Mozart or some, older music like that, it's pretty recent. He was known for orchestral music, mostly. In the beginning of his career, he wrote tone poems, which, I mean, now you think of like Looney Tunes, where you see like something running on the screen in time with the music, and it seems totally normal. But before that, music wasn't programmatic. You just like listened to it and heard what you wanted to. But Strauss, he basically wrote music on a theme, and that was a new and exciting thing at the time. Let me think what else is relevant. So this is kind of a weird program. It's a Lieder program. Lieder is just German way to say song. And the Craigslist Lieder, how many of you are familiar with Craigslist? Have you used Craigslist or know what Craigslist is? Kind of a few. Okay, so Craigslist is more popular in like metropolitan areas. It's basically the classifieds, except for it's completely anonymous, and people can post all sorts of wild and crazy things. So this composer, Gabriel Kahane, the other set of music that I'll be singing tonight, he pulled texts from New York City Craigslist in 2006. I excerpted the less spicy numbers. If you're curious about, because as you can imagine, the armpit of the internet can get a little crazy. You're welcome to look them up on your own, but I'll just be performing the more G-rated versions. You have translations if you want to check them out. I'm trying to think of anything else you might want to know. Maybe I should just sing. I think I'll do that. That's what I'm good at. I'm not very good at public speaking. Heilige Nacht, heilige Nacht, sterngeschlossene Himmelsfrieden. you. Thank you. And I'm so rude, I didn't introduce my collaborative partner, Alyssa Freeman, and you probably all know the glamorous Paige Turner, Jean Baker. Thank you so much to them. Something that's kind of interesting, the parallels between Craigslist Leader and this Brentano Leader, which once you hear the Craigslist Leader, you're going to think these are like two different worlds, and they are. But this poet, Clemens Brentano, he was, for the time, he was a very saucy poet, like very thinly veiled eroticism in the poem. This whole set, it was really rare for Strauss to pick one poet for an entire set. And this was also set with orchestra, and she's doing a beautiful job filling it out like an orchestra. But it's just like amazing how Strauss painted the colors in these poems so clearly. I hope you have a chance to read the translations because they're just gorgeous. Okay. Ik wollte ein Sträußlein binden, da kam die dunkle Nacht. Kein Blümlein war zu finden, sonst hätte ich dies gebraucht. I need to talk a little bit before I sing the next one because that's fatiguing. So how many of you are hearing this music for the first time? Cool. So do you have any impressions about the music? What do you think about the colors or the poetry? Does anybody want to volunteer anything so I can breathe for a second? Any interpretation is welcome. If anybody has an... You're an angel. So we take diction classes in undergrad, one semester of each. So we take French, German, and Italian. And really, it's not learning to speak the language as much as recognizing the patterns with the letters and then knowing how those patterns make different sounds. So I know what I'm singing about, but only because I memorized it, not necessarily because I'm a fluent German speaker or anything. Any other questions? You know, actually, yes, no. I remember you came down. That was so awesome. No, I actually prefer to sing in English. I have a huge passion for American art song and American opera. If you think about the history of American music versus like European music, if you go to, I've never even been to Europe. I just look at pictures, but all the buildings are so old. The history is goes back so far, and you know, the United States in comparison to these European countries is new. So the sounds are really contemporary, and I don't know, I think the way music has changed, I guess it's not always true, because if you listen to atonal music from America, maybe it's not so much painting what's happening in the text, but a lot of new devices, new compositional devices, I think are pretty cool. Okay, maybe I'm ready. An der Feuer saß das Kind, Amor, Amor, und war blind, die mit kleinen Flügeln welches in die Flammen und So that song is about a naughty Cupid, and the naughty one is Strauss. There's like no room for a breath in there. It's pretty awesome, but also horrendous. Okay, so I guess it's Craigslist leader time, but maybe like we could, does anybody have any questions about the German, or I mean, any questions in general, please? Sure, absolutely, yeah. So, my first day in community college, which was down at Washtenaw Community College, they used the term non-traditional student. And they were intending it to mean like people who are older, returning to college. And I remember sitting there thinking like, I think I'm a non-typical student. Statistically, the poverty is really oppressive. It makes education less accessible to a lot of people. And parents do their best and they provide for their kids, but it's hard. I mean, living in this, if you live here, it's hard to make a good living sometimes. When the economy goes down, it hits everybody hard, and we all do the best we can do, but yeah, so let's see. I dropped out of high school. I must have been, 16 or 17, somewhere around there. And this is so labor laws for like young people working, you can't work and go to school a combined certain number of hours. So like, in order to work and make money and pay for things I really needed, I had to miss school. And when you face that challenge, you have to make decisions. And like, was it the right decision? I mean, for me, it was the right decision, obviously. The road has like rise to meet me, and I've been blessed by so many loving people in my life and mentors who have like helped me get that feeling of I can really do it. The person that I was when I left here in 2005, 2006, I'm not the same person. I mean, the core of who I am the same person. I have like a little devious, wicked side that likes takes pleasure in proving people wrong about my future. I think we all have a little bit of that in us. But Schlauest, right, yes, exactly, naughty. Yeah, I think what's really interesting is every hardship, or things that could be viewed as hardship, or things that were, they're terrible that happen, they prepared me so much for what I'm doing. Because singers, I started out as an instrumentalist, and I feel like band people and orchestra people are just nerdy and so nice and cool, but singers are savage. They're so mean. They're competitive with each other. Not all, but in school, no, obviously not all, but in school there can be this I think the difference is when you play an instrument, you can swap out your instrument, you can upgrade your instrument, you might change your instrument completely, you might decide to play something different, but with your voice it's so personal because it's attached to your body. People get really personal about it. And then when somebody talks about your voice, it's like they're talking about you too. So, I don't know, I'm trying to think.
The vulnerability that makes you have to be a little aggressive because you're just so out there and you're so unguarded.
It's true, you open it, you have to open up your heart, or you're that boring performer that's like, and that's just what happens. The music takes on a life when you're right, the vulnerability is so important. And it's interesting, like the range of emotions you can get when you've experienced, because I've experienced like the greatest joy ever, but I've also experienced things that have been seemed at the time like, how the hell am I gonna get out of this? And I did, every time.
That's why your singing is so rich.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think there are any coincidences in this world. All the times when I needed something in my life, that thing appeared in the form of a mentor to me. People who made me feel worthy, made me feel smart enough. It's hard, there's a big difference. Do most of you go downstate a lot? Do you travel out of Alpena a lot? So it is different down there. I told Alyssa, we went to a gas station, and when you look at someone, they say hi to you here. So it's downstate, it's this awkward, you make eye contact, and then you're oh, do I smile? Are they gonna think I'm trying to ask them for money or something? So it's just like it's such a pleasure to be like, have such a warm welcome back, and like this support is, I appreciate it so much. And I hope that at least you can leave here like maybe knowing something that you didn't know, or hearing something that you've never heard before. So speaking of something you've never heard before, I should probably sing this Craigslist leader, and it is wild. So I guess you don't need a translation for this, it's in English. Hopefully. So, no, I didn't always. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And no matter what people say to you, like if you don't have money or you don't have, like what is it that, can you do this specifically? Can you sing opera? I don't know if you can sing opera, but you can do something. Every person has something really special about them, and you don't find that through anybody but yourself. And hardship can be an opportunity to become stronger and to learn things about yourself. You always see the most truth in somebody when they're having a hard time. And if you can be the best person in your hard times and bring that into your identity, like as a strength. So musicians and performers, jealousy is a big issue. People are really backbitey, they talk bad about each other, they try to bring each other down often. And it really in the end hurts the person who's saying and doing the negative things. So like rather than being jealous of somebody who gets something that you didn't get, which is going to happen, bound to happen, you should look at what they did well and see what you can learn from them. I think that's really important. Oh, you know what? And one other, I just want to like share the things that have been huge for me that I like learned in school that aren't like really academic things. So objective observation. It's like when you hear your voice on a voicemail or something and it sounds like so stupid to you, or like, this is not what my voice sounds like. Everything that we do, if we want to improve on it, we have to have like an objective perspective. I like when I work on something, I record myself. It's not like, do I like this? Do I not like this? It has nothing to do with what I like. It has to do with what worked and what didn't work. And when you can take the emotion out of learning from yourself, if you record yourself or whatever it may be, you grow more if you're objective, and you should be as kind to yourself as you would be to somebody else. I'm gonna sing opera. I like to write music. You know, I would play the guitar and I would write my own stuff, but this one right here, and Jeannie Rasmussen too, she welcomed me into the choral program. It was just a weird cusp where I wasn't in band and she invited me, but really, I mean, I would say Gretchen am Spinnrad was like the turning point. It was just this crazy, so I don't know, does Mrs. Hubbard still work here? I mean the art teacher, not the fluty one. Okay, so Mrs. Hubbard, the humanities teacher, I was taking her class, and she had this humanities book, and she said, hey, you should flip through this and see if there's anything interesting in this. They sent me a bunch of these, and I don't know which one I'm going to use for this class. Do you see anything interesting here in the music section? Like I'm some expert on music at 16, but it had recordings, and they picked Schubert's Gretchen am Spinnrad, which is, I was talking about, so text painting is where the poet talks about something and then the composer writes something that sounds exactly like it. So it's like text painting. But it was, I just remember being like totally entranced, thinking like, I liked choir music. Like I really enjoyed the experience more, you know, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of kids have the perception before they're in choir, like, this isn't pop music, or this isn't like what I'm used to hearing, I loved it. But then I never thought I'd be singing classical music. And then I hear this like sound that I never heard before on the CD. And I thought, I want to do that. And I didn't learn it. I procrastinated. But I ended up singing it, and I actually did just okay on that. Did pretty well on that. But yeah, I think after Schubert was like German's lead master. He wrote like, what, 600 songs or something? And he died at like 35 or 37 or something, really young, and he had this huge output of songs. Total genius, but I guess I credit a lot of that to Schubert. But again, when you're good, and also when you're good at something and you're not good at anything else, it kind narrows down your options, right? So you learn to love it. It's kind of interesting. Fox too, like, okay, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent. Voice types, have any of you heard of the Fox system? Okay, so Fox system is, they categorize, in Germany, they categorize your voice type. They have, Germany has a huge art support system. The government pays and supports opera, novel concept. But they categorize people's voices, based on the weight of the voice, the color of the voice, and actually sometimes even on like somebody's physical stature. They categorize the voices, and it's kind of, so soprano, like say I'm a soprano, is like saying I play a woodwind instrument. There's a flute, there's oboe, there's bassoon. I mean technically like the French horn is a woodwind, and they all have really different sounds. So you're just born with the voice that you get, and you learn to love it, like, because it's what you have. It's kind of interesting, Fox system. It can be kind of constrictive too. Once a teacher says, oh, this is your Fox, this is what you can sing. This coloratura, my first voice teacher that I had in undergrad never would have let me sing this because she didn't think that my voice could move. But then I just sang it and my voice could move. So just, but we label a lot of things in the music world, and it can be good, it can be like helpful to help you find the repertoire you're supposed to be singing, but it can also be constrictive too. It's like mezzos can sing a lot of soprano rep, there's like stuff in between. Okay, I rant over. Okay, Craigslist leader. Neurotic and lonely, average height, brown eyes slightly disproportionate, brown curly hair, Jufro, 20 years old, 20 years old. Slightly hunched, occasionally employed, anthropologist, chain-smoking Jew, currently living with parents, off from school, off from school, off from school. To deal with emotional problems, neurotic and lonely, medicated, neurotic and lonely, seeks gorgeous, artsy, genius woman, interested in philosophical discourse, making out television, Woody Allen movies, Thelonious Monk, the Nazis, Chinese food, Thomas Pynchon, digestive disorders, neurotic and lonely, neurotic and lonely, 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 lonely. Must enjoy video games, must own a video game system, must enjoy video games, must own a video game system. My parents refused to buy one for me. My parents refused to buy one for me. My parents, my parents, my parents, my parents, 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 parents. My parents refused to buy one for me. No Ugg boots, no Long Island. Neurotic and lonely, neurotic and lonely, neurotic and lonely, neurotic and lonely, neurotic, 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 neurotic. These are real people. These are real people that wrote these ads. The society we live in, it's exciting. Anonymous, when you make something anonymous, people, it's like, actually, even when it's not anonymous, look what people post on Facebook. They're like suddenly the heroes of their cause. This is what I believe. And if you don't agree with me, I will delete you. in which you disappear into the ether. It's such a punishment, but. Okay. Oh, today I'm at, right? God was selling M&Ms on the F train. God was selling M&Ms on the F train. Today I met the messenger of God. Thank you. This is the last one, right? Opera? Okay. My last week has been a complete blur. I made this program just like a day ago, maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Printed it. I could not remember when I walked backstage what I was singing first. So I have to like double check everything. Is this what I'm singing? Yeah, this is what I'm singing. If we're doing the same thing, that's a good start at least. Okay. Hello, potential roommates. I come to you today with an offer you might not be able to refuse. I have available a large furnished room on the first floor of a 3-story walk-up in the heart of the East Village, 4th Street and 2nd Avenue. Bed, desk, wardrobe, and air conditioning come with the room. $550 includes all utilities. You may be wondering why the price is so low. Well, here's the twist. I'm 25 with a slight social problem, which to some makes me an undesirable roommate. I have a compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. I have a compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. Down people's shirts, down people's shirts. Ice cubes, ice cubes. I have a compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. As my roommate, you will likely bear the brunt of this problem. As my roommate, you will likely bear the brunt of the, you will likely bear the brunt of the. As my roommate, I ice cubes down shirts as my roommate, ice cubes down shirts. Don't ask me to explain why I do this. Why I do this. Why do I do this? It's a psychological issue, and years of therapy haven't helped. It's a psychological issue, and years of therapy haven't helped. Haven't helped, haven't helped. Therapy have not helped my compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. Let me emphasize, it will not go further than the ice cubes. I am not abusive or perverted, and I will never make lewd comments or touch you inappropriately. I do not drop heavy or hot steaming objects down people's shirts. Only ice cubes. What this means for you. When you're sitting on the couch or at the table, I may come up to you and put an ice cube down your shirt. I may come up to you and put an ice cube down your shirt. Ice cube, ice cube. I may put an ice cube down your shirt. Your bedroom door has a sturdy lock, so you'll be secure while sleeping. Ditto for the bathroom, so you'll be secure while I may turn the doorknob. I may turn the doorknob, but a stern word is enough to send me on my way. I always have ice cubes on hand. Do not think you can simply get rid of all the ice trays in the apartment. All the ice trays, all the ice trays. Trust me, I have tried this, as have various roommates. It doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I will only buy more. 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 On infrequent occasions, I have been known to follow someone into the street to put an ice cube down their shirt. Once I showed up at a roommate's place of business. However, this was a wake-up call, and I assure you, it's something I may not repeat. However, my roommate will have to be tolerant. It takes great patience, and others have failed. It may seem like a minor problem, but eventually all the ice can become somewhat annoying. I think that covers it. My current roommate is leaving to move in with her boyfriend. But before that, we had a successful relationship for 1 year. She even said the ice was a relief in the summer months, which can become quite hot. I have a compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. I have a compulsion to put ice cubes down people's shirts. Down people's shirts. Down people's shirts. Ice cubes, ice cubes, ice cubes, ice cubes, ice cubes on people's shirts, on people's shirts. Down the shirts. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to give my own personal round of applause to these guys. This music is not easy. And can you believe this girl got this music a week ago? My original pianist had a family emergency and like had to book it back to Philly. And she gets this music a week ago and she's like, I think I can do it. Crazy. She's a piano performance major at Michigan. Alyssa Freeman. Does anyone have questions about Craigslist Leader? This guy's kind of self-explanatory, right, in English? These are crazy people. I don't know if there's anything else. If you have any questions about anything. After being in a car for 5 hours. What is my... That's probably the top, but it's not very pretty. What was that? Was it E? E, yeah. Yeah, that's about it. It's like, it's just high enough to be Queen of the Night, but there's no way I can sing it. You guys know. Not this one. That can last for like maybe 1 minute, and the aria is like 4. So, but. Oh, so I actually just walked yesterday. I just got my master's degree. Yay! It's my first official walk. I didn't walk for my bachelor's degree, so that was really cool. The cap, so they say one size fits all, but I have this giant head, and it was like digging in. When I took it, I was afraid because so they put the hoods on you, and I read online because I don't know anything about regalia. They say, take your hat off so they can put the hood on you. They only do that for doctoral students, thank God. But I'm thinking, they snap a picture of you when you take your hat off, and I would have had this like permanent indentation. It would have looked like a Vulcan or something. But no, I live in Ann Arbor. I just graduated my master's, and I start my doctoral degree in the fall. So, thank you. I'm so excited. Yes. Considering there will be high school students in the room, the only remaining Craigslist leader are totally inappropriate. They're really fun. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I could do some of them. Yeah. I was thinking. I mean, I have some arias too. I was thinking maybe I could bring some arias and then talk about the operas a little bit and. Oh God. Now compare to these guys, Strauss, Kane. Yeah. It's been a long time since I wrote anything, but I could probably dig out some of my old gems. That's crazy to think about. Yes. Just 3, and it'll be like an expedited 3 because I did my master's degree at Michigan, and a lot of the credits transfer. So where, unfortunately for the other 2 doctoral students, because they take 3, the other 2 aren't from in the program. They have to take all these history courses, and I elected to take an extra music history course because I love music history, and it transfers, so I don't have to write any more like 15-page papers. Yeah, something to woo about for sure. Yeah, I will actually be, okay, I guess I'll just talk about this. I always feel weird talking about all the perks, but they're pretty awesome. So as being accepted into this program, I get full health insurance, like the cream of the crop health insurance, which that's awesome. I have a couple fillings I need. I've been waiting for years, chipped tooth. You know, you just wait, either it like rots and falls out or it's kind of disgusting. As you can see, education hasn't refined me completely. It's true, we can't take it out. But yeah, that's why I'm a genuine performer, I think. So I'll be teaching classes at Michigan. Probably, some students do, like they teach private voice lessons, but since I kind of already have my foot in, I would rather teach like a diction class, which you can always learn from teaching other people. Or like a musical theater class. They do like classical voice for musical theater majors. Those are a couple of classes they offer, so I'm like hoping I can get into one of those, teaching one of those. But I'm teaching no matter what, so it'll be really fun. And I get paid, that's why I get the health insurance and stuff. So it is such an awesome opportunity. Michigan has so much money. Must be nice. But they're really awesome. There's the Brem family. He was an investment banker, I think, or a financial advisor or something. And he has just like hooked up the students. All these scholarships are available because people who have the means. Oh, speaking of which, so it's no pressure. If you don't want to put anything in the bucket, that's fine. I have a bucket out there for free will donations, and this is all just going to go into a fund for people like I was in high school who don't have money to do everything they want to do. It can pay for solo and ensemble, it could pay for voice lessons, it could pay for an accompanist. It's just something to help them get going if they need the money. So if you feel like on your way out just dropping a little something in that bucket, I'm sure the kids would appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, so there's a lot of food out there, and I hope you are really hungry. Please eat it, a lot of it. Like, take a plate, like at the family reunion, and just like take it home with you for somebody else, please, because I'm driving all the way back to Ann Arbor, and I don't want to cart all that back. I'll be out there if you want to talk to me. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a trip coming back in here. It's weird. I didn't think it would have this effect on me, but walking in here was actually a very warm and positive experience for me. Because I remember like all the fun theater stuff we did in here. So like I was concerned that there would be like those weird like lingering inadequacy feelings or like, you know, like feeling weird being here. But the people who came out to support me, like, and it was like such a warm and loving environment, so it was actually nice. Growing up in Alpena, people here everybody knows everybody. It's warm and friendly. It can also sometimes be to the detriment. Like if something bad is happening, then everybody knows about that too. But I think like the great thing about Alpena is that when somebody's going through something hard, your friends come together. You have friends and family that you didn't, family, what is family? People who come in and support you and show you love.